evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Open this meeting. I appreciate those of you who are here. If you would, please bow your heads. We're going to have the Commissioner's invocation. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight asking for your guidance as we conduct the business of the county. We ask for your blessing on the citizens of Harris County. We ask that you also take care of our servicemen and women, both here and abroad. We thank you, O Lord, for all of our service personnel, for all of our county employees, and for those who make us smile and bring light into our lives each day. We ask that you forgive us of our sins, that you watch over us, help us to do thy bidding here on earth. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Now I'd like to ask Commissioner Andrews if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the minutes, I do want to take this opportunity to have all of us collectively, if you will, we have a young man in the audience tonight who is will be celebrating his 87th birthday later this week, and we certainly want to tell him how much we appreciate him and look forward to seeing him for many more years. But Bobby Harrelson, happy birthday to you, Bobby. Yay. Okay, we have 3 sets of minutes to approve. We have the regular session July the 17th. We have the work session, which was also on July the 17th, which was the comp plan update. And then we have the call session of August the 2nd. Do I have a motion?
I move that be approved.
Second. Motion for approval and a second. Are there any items that need to be changed? Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Appearance of citizens. Okay. Thank you. New business. Appointments to the Development Authority. There are currently 3 vacancies on that. Commissioner Woods is ready to offer in the nomination for appointment replacement for David King, who has moved out of the county. Mr. Woods?
I would like, or it is my pleasure to request that the vacancy be filled by Charles Sweat, who is the president of First People's Bank. I think it's a natural choice.
All right, you make that in the form of a motion?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. The next appointment is one that is made, nomination is made by the Department of Behavioral Health and Development Disabilities. And we are in Region 6. They have a vacancy representing Harris County on that advisory council, and they are recommending that Starla Lewis de Saussure, who is a resident of Harris County, be appointed to that position to take the place of Lynn Taylor, who resigned some time ago. I believe you have a letter in your packets from the Georgia Department of Behavioral Science, Health and Developmental Disabilities, giving you a little background on the candidate. Do I have a motion to accept this nomination?
I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is resolution to accept Hart Ridge Court and Newberry Court in Hart Preserve Subdivision, Section 2. All the documents necessary for the acceptance have been received. I will turn first to our acting attorney for the night, Jeff Todd, who is here, Mr. Taylor's absence. Jeff, is there anything you want to share with us regarding this?
No, sir, nothing from our perspective.
All the documents are in order.
Yes, sir.
Right, and also, Park Preserve is a development of Houston homes. Mr. Edgar Houston is here. Edgar, is there anything you want to say about that?
Just thank you everybody for the working with us on this. I know it was a tough thing at first, but it seems to have gone very well with everybody in the county.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there a motion regarding acceptance of these roads?
I move that it be accepted according to our usual terms.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hands. Motion carries. Thank you, Edgar. Appreciate that. Any other new business? And next is in the county manager's portion. Dowling, I think the first item is project updates.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, this is the updates for the fiscal year. Again, we're about only 1.5 months into the new fiscal year. And here's, in these pages are the items that have been made a board priority and put funding toward them. I'm going to hit the highlights. If there's any questions, just let me know. Number one, the pickup trucks and animal boxes for animal control have been ordered. They'll be here during late September. Number five, the telephone system at the community center. We are running a modern phone system, including instruments, unlimited telephone service, and maintenance from Charter over a 60-month period for only $467 per month, about the same cost as just the service from Earthlink. So we're going to get a much better service, much cheaper service, all inclusive.
I have
Sure.
a couple of questions. When I did the math on that, that's about $28,000
Over 5 years.
over 5 years.
Okay.
And we had approved for $10,000, and if I recall correctly, we didn't talk about a time on that. And has a contract been signed with Charter, and if so, who signed the contract?
It's been a couple of weeks. I don't recall. But we're in the process of acquiring it.
Acquiring what?
The
contract?
No, the phone instruments. So it's not been installed yet. So if you want us to stop, we will.
Well,
What was the budget number of that?
It was $10,000 to purchase, but we found a better deal to rent the instruments and to rent everything for a much, much lower cost.
Okay, you mentioned in your comments that it was cheaper than the service
Than
from
we're getting now.
Earthlink.
Right. Well, what's happening now, we're paying Earthlinks a service fee every month. So this will replace that service fee, basically. So we're not going to really spend any of the $10,000. So basically, we're taking one expense for service only and using that same approved budget to get the service plus phone instruments. So it's the same
what type
cost.
What does this include? Does this internet also?
No, it's just
What is it?
It's the phone system, including the instruments, unlimited telephone service, and maintenance of that telephone service. The internet was done previously through Charter, and this is also a Charter Spectrum product.
I guess my question is, this was the first time I had seen where it was gonna be 28,000 over 5 years. And I didn't know if any of the other commissioners had, if this had been discussed with any other commissioners. I was a little surprised at that, and to see that it says it has been completed, so I would assume that there's a contract, I would
But
hope.
it's not being completed, it's being,
Well, this right here says
well,
completed.
you're right. But basically, we're simply taking, it's not been completed. What we're doing, we're taking an expense that's in the budget now and virtually replacing that expense with a better product.
But we're also obligating, without any discussion, for 4 more years after the 1 year. And I was a little surprised to see that.
I'm just trying to get a good phone system
I
for the county.
understand,
So what we have doesn't work.
I understand.
I have a question. If we buy the phone system, what would the service cost us on a monthly basis?
I don't know.
I think that would be the comparison that
It would be helpful.
Yes, it would.
Well, we'll go back to drawing board number 5. I'll stop what we're doing and go back to the drawing board number 5.
Thank you.
Number 9, there are 2 replacement ambulances. That's on bid opening is tomorrow. Number 12, our locking intercom system for the prison. That's being designed and that is ongoing. Number 20, Holland Drive. We need 2 more deeds to finish Holland Drive right away.
Okay, is one of those deeds where someone was negotiating with the owner to purchase right away?
One deed is a land swap, and the other one has title issues.
Still.
Still,
I mean,
still. It's the same problems that we have. We started with 4 deeds, and now we're down to 2 deeds.
okay.
One's a title issue, and one is a deed swap. Number 23, repair Barnesville Road Bridge. That's on the agenda for this evening. Number 27, the wildlife fence is being installed at the airport. Be finished probably later this month. Number 29, phase 2 of the wildlife fence. We're preparing bid documents and easement documents for that. Number 31, the airport access road paving is on bid, and the bid opening is September the 18th. Award expected October 2nd, completion by the end of this year.
Can I ask a question regarding number 29?
29, okay.
Preparing bid and easement documents, would you explain what easement is needed?
The Pond Consulting is saying we need 2 easements, 2 very small easements, because I guess there's a rise in the terrain that needs to be moved. So the hump in the terrain needs to be moved so the fence can stay level. And we would get on other people's property by taking that little hill out. So we need a temporary easement on other property, adjacent properties.
Just to access the construction area there?
Correct. To move that hill out and spread it out around.
Thank you.
So, number 39, the water meter replacement project is ongoing, and that's in process. The State Route 219 water relocation project is on bid. The bid opening is September the 7th. And board award is expected September the 18th. Number 42, update the comprehensive master plan. That is ongoing. The next meeting is August 21st. Number 44, the Million Lakes Dam. Waiting for the study to be completed, waiting for the bathymetric study to be completed. Then after that report is done, then we'll speak with the affected property owners out at Melody Lakes. Number 46, the ultimate motel tax. The ordinance is being prepared by the county attorney. We're waiting for him. Number 47, complete the revisions of the sign ordinance. We're also looking at that, and it's in the county attorney's hands for that review. Number 48, the Daysall's stream relocation. That is on the agenda for tonight. And you can see in the sales tax collections, the SPLOST collections was 101.5% over budget. So we did collect about $36,000 more dollars over the fiscal year for SPLOST. So it went over budget. The lost was 103%. We went about $56,000 over budget. And over budget in revenue is a good thing. And the T-SPLOST was right at 100.5%. I call that good budgeting. Building permits for July was 20. So we are still marking our path for 20, about 15 to 20 single-family homes a year. A month. And then the solid waste disposal chart, we're averaging about 14,000 tons a year, up from about 13,300 tons a year. So everything seems to be in order.
All right. Any questions about any of the projects? Okay, next is the bid award discussion for the Daysall Stream reroute. And, I'm going to let Mr. Dowling start that. We have with us a representative from the engineering firm that's handling the work from Daysall. Cedric will help make a presentation.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, this has been an ongoing project for several years, at least since 2016. It is a project of economic development importance to reroute a stream on the county property in the Northwest Harris Business Park, to relocate a stream so Daysall can build another facility behind their existing facility. So this project has been designed by GMC out of Montgomery, Alabama. Cedric Campbell is here to go over the bid documents and the project overall. This is a 90-day project. It's simply to relocate a stream so Daysall can build another facility. You can see it has a budget. It's an approved budget, about $1.4 million, and it came in well under budget. So Cedric Mr. Campbell can go from there to talk about the project.
Sure. Commission Chairman, the project is, as Mr. Dowling mentioned, to relocate. The main function of the project is to relocate the stream and to build as much of the future building pad for Dayton's extension as we can with the earthwork that will be involved in removing the stream. Project was bid. We have a broad variation of bids, and I'm pretty sure that that was the first thing that everyone looked at. And a lot of times it's hard to explain why. The biggest thing and concern that I talked to Mr. Dowling about early on was rock. We got into rock in initial building construction, and so rock is on site. We did a due diligence at Geotech and try to do all we could to hone in on the location of that rock, and also make the site available for contractors to go out and do due diligence during the bid process, and some of them took advantage of that. I've checked out the low bidder references. They all checked out. Talked to some engineers that they work with, talked to some owners they work with, and they're all satisfied with them. The company's in good standings. And so I had no problem with making a recommendation to move forward with them. And I'll be quiet and answer any questions that the commission may have.
Was this company one that took advantage of your offering to allow them on site?
They did go on site. I'm not sure how intensive their investigation
So you don't
was,
like any borings or anything?
no ma'am, I don't know if they did any additional borings, but I know they were on site, and I think they were the closest to the site, with their home home office in LaGrange. But they've informed me that they did go on the site. I did not ask them, did you do bores, or did you take a track hole out and dig? But I know they were on site. And they were actually, before our initial pre-bid, they were the only contractor that asked questions, and then they requested plans and had plans before the pre-bid. So they were more involved than any others. That doesn't really mean that they were the only ones that were looking at it, but they were the ones that, I think before the pre-bid, I called Randy and said, hey, I only have really one contractor that has plans, and it was that company. So they've kind of been involved since day one. Again, I'm pretty sure they were sick, when they opened bids and found out, the variation between them and the next guy. I mean, as you would know, contractors are, I mean, that's usually the biggest focus is how much money did they leave on the table, but they have not expressed any concern to me about moving forward with the project.
Do you feel like this is their 425 that they have submitted is, what I call a project completed figure?
Yes,
In other
ma'am.
words, if I go to buy a car, I want to know what the out the door price is.
What the out the door price is?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's basically what I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am. They have, included in their bid and stood by, what's in the project. And I went, when I saw the number, I talked to them extensively about, what's involved. And the only thing that we talked about is, they expressed an interest of us, removing, additional rock below the grades that we're, designing to. And that's one thing that they didn't have, but that's something that can be done when the building's in there. And it's also, I don't think it's gonna be a big concern, but as far as the project as a whole, yes, I feel comfortable that they
Thank you. I have a question, please, regarding the revised proposal for construction drawings, et cetera.
yes, ma'am.
It's a pretty good difference. Could you elaborate on why such a big change, please?
Revised drawings.
Right, the original that we had back in September.
For our fee. Yes, ma'am, sure.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We have gone through a number of changes. When we first started the project, we were only gonna move the stream. And Dayton was gonna come back at a later date and put their building pad in. And when they said that, I said, hey, are you really sure that's what you wanna do? And I think at that time, the county was gonna do the work. So the county really didn't want to be involved in building their building pad for them. So our drawings were to just reroute the stream, excess material is gonna be stopped out to the side. And then later, I think, the county is Mike Brown looked at the plans, he's saying this is more expensive than our forces can handle. So the county, Commissioner Lang and Mr. Dowling and I and Dayton met and said, hey, the county would, contract with the contractor to do the work. And at that time, Dayton said, okay, let's add the building pad since we're removing the dirt. So we revised the drawings to show the building pad. When we got that done, they said, well, we want to make the building pad a little bigger. So we had to revise the drawings again, and those revisions are what you're looking at. And when we initially sent our proposal in, it included just the work for the stream reroute as far as us being involved in construction and some of the construction statements. So really the changes of our scope, our fees was because the scope changed for the
I
project.
understand. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dillon, may I ask, with some of the changes that Daysol is wanting for the building pad, is that something the county is responsible for?
Well,
Is it not?
this, I walked in the middle of this project. It was ill-conceived to begin with. It's been going on for about 3 years, and it kept morphing. But we were going to relocate the stream, put the dirt in the new stream where the building pad's going, to stockpile it, and then have it then. But then if you put the excess dirt from the new stream into the old stream where the dirt's going to go, where it needs to be compacted and properly put in, because otherwise the building won't fit on top of it. So we had to, in order for the building pad to be proper, we had to do some extra work that was not conceived originally.
That's because of the stream, it's all related to the stream.
That's right.
Because the new building's going to go on top of the old stream.
And I think one of the things that they done, and it has changed so many times, but I think one of the conversations we had was earlier, they wanted the stream outside of their building area, and they wanted it outside of the property as a whole, for the longest, and I think Chairman Lane was able to kind of negotiate that a little differently. But there are a lot of nuances, and the chairman, I've worked on numerous projects with them, and sometimes they feel like streams and waters and ponds are, it's a bad omen. So the fact that the chairman was able to get them to locate there with that stream there, I really gave him no chance at one time, just because I know how the chairman is about ponds and streams and water. But they were adamant about getting it relocated, but that couldn't be done when the initial building was constructed, because we had to go through the process of getting the Corps of Engineers permit. That took a year or so. So that's part of why it has gone on for so long, is because there were so many different moving parts at the same time. Kia was holding them to the, I guess, their feet to the fire about getting the plant up and running. Because I think they are importing that material from Korea right now, that they are manufacturing that. They sold it from, if I'm not mistaken. So they agreed with Kia a while back that they would build a plant in the U.S. and manufacture that product here instead of overseas. And so they had to do it by a certain time frame, and move the stream, and all could happen before the building was constructed.
So this project basically is relocating the current stream away. The new dirt in the new stream will go into the old stream bed, and a new building will be built on top of that. So when this project is completed, the stream will be relocated, and there will be a building pad on top of the old stream,
That's right.
ready to build, but the pad won't be final pad. It'll be a rough pad.
That's right. That's right. And
Yeah, that's what I remember.
That's right.
I know we did not agree to do pad ready.
No,
That's right.
this is not pad ready,
That's right.
but it's leaving the site with a new stream and a building pad that's roughed in,
That's right.
ready for a final final grade to be done by others.
That's right.
That's part of their contract with the
And there have been no commitments that I've heard of when that building's gonna go up, but, the chairman, as I understand, is putting a lot of pressure on the plant to have everything ready, so when that time comes.
When you're speaking chairman, you're talking about Chairman Kwan.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir. Yes, sir.
the Korean chairman.
Yes, sir.
Is there any possibility for a budget amendment? Was this bid prepared in such a way that it was an all-inclusive?
It was lump sum, that's
Lump
one
sum.
of the things that the county expressed to be upfront is, wanting it to be an all-inclusive bid, so it's a lump sum bid. Anything they encounter, all of it excavates the unclassified, so whatever they get into, that's on the contractor, we're not involved, and GEC will be out there looking at the material that's removed, what's unsuitable, comes out of the building pad area, what's good, goes into the building pad area. But you're right, it is a lump sum bid. Yes.
Yeah, I think one of the concerns I had, particularly when I saw this divergence of numbers, was that there were no loopholes there that they could come back and charge us extra money for it, which gets to Ms. Langston's deal. And I was assured that that is not the case. That,
That's right.
this is it, it will not exceed this, not at all. So,
What is the deadline for completion? Is
It's
it
a 90-day contract time, so when we get,
for the relocation stream, not for the second phase.
Oh, no, and that's what I meant, is this contract with?
Yes, ma'am. So if the commission moves forward and authorizes the award of the project, I'll send that to the contractor and for them to get their performance bond and their insurance and all in order. Once once all that's in order, they'll submit it, the county attorney will look at it and bless it. Once he blesses it, then, we'll send them a notice to proceed, and that'll start, 90 days will start soon after the notice is received.
Do you know who the principal of TACO is?
I do not, the chairman was asking me, earlier, and I do not know who, I would say the financial person. I've been speaking with the general manager, who is, Steve Whitehead, and he's in the Tuscaloosa office, but I don't know the structure of TACO. It's my understanding that it's a Korean, company, but I don't know who that individual or those entities are.
Any other questions at all with it?
So the total amount of this project, the total amount of the construction project is $489,520.54, which is the total of the TACO bid, the GMC total amount, of which 19,900 has been previously approved by the board, and the GEC amount of 22,485. You add all those three numbers up, 489,520.54. So that's the total cost of this construction project. And about 1.4 million was put in the budget. Senator, do you think we need a contingency amount?
I mean, it's always good to have a contingency. The one opportunity for contingency that I see is GEC has done their best to estimate the time that they will be required to be on site to monitor the compaction of the soil. That's an estimation. We don't have a construction schedule from the contractor yet, so GEC may be out there a little more than they thought. Right now, we've assumed they'll be out there 2/3 of the time, but it could take a little more. So that is a potential for overrun, but that's a consultant that will be looking to make sure the work is done. They will be working for the county in the county's interest, and that's not the contract. But that's the opportunity. And then they're also be doing your stormwater inspections. They have to go out every rain a bit of a certain portion, and we can't say we've done our best guesstimate of how often they'll go out there, but that could change with rain. So I recommend a contingency. It's the commission's decision on whether we put something in there. But I think there is potential that GC is the on-site representative for the county to have eyes on the ground. I'll be out there maybe once a week, but they will be out there every day, and it's hard to say whether the contractor may work long hours, so their guys are working a little overtime. But I would recommend having a contingency to make sure we've got enough to keep those guys out there looking out for the county.
Would you think, based on what their preliminary guesstimate is,
Yes, ma'am.
would another 10,000 should be sufficient?
I would hope so. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
you're talking only a contingency for GEC,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because the others are
That's right. That's correct.
fixed.
That's right. Unless the county and Dagon makes, if the county and Dagon change the scope, then that would change everything. But as far as what we're looking at, GC's is where I can see the need for things.
$10,000 is probably way more than we would need. Normally contingency is in a much smaller percentage range.
Do you see any take-home budget amendments?
Not unless the scope changes.
It's not gonna change from my point of view.
Chairman comes over here and twists the county's arm. I don't know. But I think it'd be a scope change or take a little budget. There would be a change.
See that happen.
So does the board want a contingency? And if so, how do you access it?
see put in there. Jeffrey, you hadn't seen this at all?
Yeah, they have a total estimate. It's not, it's not to exceed.
Actual cost would be billed at the unit rates.
Yeah.
But it says we will not exceed our estimated cost without prior approval. I think we'll leave contingency out of it. If they've got a need, they can come talk to us. Okay, any other questions for Mr. Campbell? All right, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we award the bid to TACO for $425,235.54 and approve the proposals from GMC and GEC in the amount listed and authorize the execution of documents by the manager and county clerk.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, Senator, I appreciate it.
Need help having you here.
No problem. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It has been a long journey. Glad to get this one going. They're essentially doubling the size of their existing second plant that's there. That will be very nice to have.
How many more employees?
Not that many more with the second one. It's total for the two phases of it was 125 employees and about $35 million capital investment. So I think about 15, 20 employees, something like that. Okay, Cedric, thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is grant authorization for a TAP grant, and I'll let Mr. Dowling tell us about that.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, this is a grant opportunity that we're asking to submit a grant before the deadline of this end of this month. It is a Georgia Department of Transportation TAP grant. TAP stands for the Transportation Alternatives Program, and it is to extend the Rails to Trails project from where it ends with the other grants from behind the Callaway Villas to the Callaway Country Store, about 2.1 miles. The estimated cost is $1.9 million, of which the grant will pay 80% of it. The counties will be 20% match. The grant will cover engineering, actual construction costs, and guardrails for that portion. You can see the actual grant application that's been prepared. You can see the cost estimates. Again, $1.948 million. If the grant is successful, this is a highly competitive grant. If it is successful, the state will put in $1,558,700, leaving the local match by the county to be $389,675, of which $245,900 will come from the SPLOST 2019 funds earmarked for this project, and the balance of $143,775 will come from county T-SPLOST funds. So I guess we're asking the board for authorization to submit the TAP grant for the Rails to Trails portion from the Callaway Villas to the Country Store before the deadline of August 31st, and if successful, proceed on.
Is there a deadline to use this grant money if we've received it?
Yes. Well, basically, the TAP grant is with GDOT. The TAP grant is very similar to the T grant. I think the TAP grant, as I've been told, is taking the place of the T grant. The T grant has taken us about 10 to 12 years that we applied previously. It's taken about 10 to 12 years to get to this point. And we should be funded in December or January this year on the old T grant. The TAP grant takes its place. they said GDOT said it has been accelerated. So if we apply, and if we're successful, the earliest we'll have this money is 24 months after approval. So that's probably 3 years from now, at best case scenario.
Do we feel good about the cost of crossing Highway 27?
In this proposal, there is money put in here to evaluate the bridge, to determine, do we keep the bridge, take off the lead-based paint, for example, redact it, and then move on. Or an analysis could be done to remove the entire bridge structure and replace it with a pedestrian bridge.
Do you feel like this grant will cover either scenario, so we can get across Highway 27 without additional funds?
This, the consultants, Carter Sloop, they're leaning toward keeping the bridge as is, evaluating it, shoring it up, redecking it, and removing lead-based paint. And what is left on each side could be signage opportunities for the county to sell. That's what the kind of consultants are leaning toward.
But that this money will do what you just said.
Yes, and I think there's $350,000 for that specific purpose.
What, the information we received at the last meeting about the historical issues,
Yep.
what is that?
Yeah.
I mean, do we anticipate a time that we may have those resolved?
Well, right now, our consultants is getting bid proposals from various historic preservationists to do that project for a previous grant that it's a requirement if we're successful. I'm thinking that same project, that same historical evaluation project could be applied to this grant also, the same identical one. But then, if we're awarded this grant, sometime next year, they may make that bridge historic. And they may put on other requirements that we don't even know yet. Or they may not. It depends on their evaluation of our application.
If we're granted the grant, we can deny it. We can not take it if all of that comes about.
That's always
It's always
an
an
option.
option, yes.
Because that's why we ask for submittal, and then if we get it, and if there's too many entanglements, then we could abandon the project. But then that would be abandoning the project forever. That's what I see.
Well, hopefully the preservationists will know what all the rules are to help us understand.
Because if you see on page 5 of the grant application, Carter Sloop put in $350,000 to evaluate and rehab that train trestle. It's a good guess from the consultants. Or we could double that amount. We could make it $700,000, rip it out, and put a new pedestrian bridge on there.
Is that what the estimate is for?
I would have no clue
Okay.
on what it would take to rip out an extremely heavy.
I don't think that's inexpensive.
I would think the cheaper, from where I sit, I think the cheaper avenue would be to take the bridge. It's been there for 50 years.
Longer than that.
okay? I guess I'm being 80 years. It's been sitting there for many, many moons. Just redecking it, taking the lead-based paint if there's any, repainting it, put some signs on it, and call it a day. But it's over an active state route. But again, this grant would tackle it would go the hard road. We seem to always go the hard road.
One more question. Let's say, worst case scenario, it costs more than that to cross the highway. Would we be allowed to shorten the length of this project in order to have the funds to be able to make that crossing, or do we have to make it the full length for mileage-wise for the trail, the length of the trail? Does that make sense?
I don't know. I think what you submit to the grant folks, they're going to want you to do what they're going to want you to do what you've said you're going to do in your application.
Perhaps there'll be some SPOS funds by then to help if we need.
So if we're going to go from, and one of my questions to the consultant is, you know, this whole project is piecemeal together so far about 3 grants that have been awarded to the county preliminarily. The official award won't be until later this year. But so far they said, you're good to go. But you gotta do the historic preservation thing. What if the previous grant somehow gets sideways and it doesn't go through? Then we have a gap. So can we move this back up? You know.
I think there's some questions we need answered from the grant folks. Because, I mean, I would love to get across 27. Because that's the big stumbling block. And if we would have the flexibility, as long as we spend all the money on that trail to cover our costs, and if one of the grants goes away, I think, is there somebody that you've been talking with that's kind of administering this, or is?
There's no, this is a new grant. This is the first year of it. And they're saying, like, hey, here's the application, submit to us and we'll evaluate it. And our consultants, they're doing the best they can with the cost figures.
Surely there's somebody that you can speak with.
That's what I would think.
I can't imagine that there wouldn't be. There's a manager. Yeah, there has to be.
But again, the deadline's the 31st. What questions would I pose?
I think we just want to make sure that you know, if some of those things come up and we can't go to the country store, that's our intent. We
Right.
certainly want to do that. But if we can't because of cost or because of historic something or other, and we end up short, is that okay as long as we spend all the money on that they give us on the rails to trail?
And within,
In this section,
yeah, in this section.
it might come up short.
Could you phrase the grant up to that point instead of absolutely to that point?
I don't mean to interrupt, but most grants that I've applied for a scope of work, not amount of money. You apply for the scope of work, and the scope of work you're talking about is what do you want to do?
You mean point A to point B?
Point A to point B, that's scope of work.
That's why I said write it
And
right
maybe
up
phase
to
one,
instead of
phase 2, phase 3.
absolutely. But there is a grant manager somewhere for that grant
Yeah.
DOT. I just call them and have a conversation. They may not give you much information, but I've had that conversation.
Yeah, and
everybody to sign
Our
this
next meeting
grant.
is 10 days before the end of the deadline for submittal, so.
And it's already written, so.
yeah.
Does it cause a problem, Randy? We'll wait one more time.
Let's table it.
And the second question was, if one of the previous grants falls through and we're back, that's gonna be, I think, a stickier question
Right.
than going off of.
Okay. All right, next item is the Barnesville Road Bridge repair.
Mr. Chair, Board of Commissioners, this is a bridge repair on Barnesville Road Bridge in Hamilton. As you know, everybody knows the history of this bridge. It is quite a problematic bridge. And so we had GDOT Bridge Inspector come down and take a look at it, say, hey, what would you do to repair the Barnesville Road Bridge? So based on his inspection, he recommended a certain way to repair it. And he recommended this particular company, Satcher Associates, to be engaged to prepare the repair design. Not to do the repair, but to do the design. And this company has worked for the county before on other bridge projects. The design would also include preparing the design plans, preparation of the bid specs, a pre-bid meeting, bid selection, and construction administration of the entire project. So the request is to have Satcher Associates prepare a repair design at a cost of $36,150. Once the design is done and received, then the project will be bid out. And it's projected the repair will be completed by late this year. So funding for this design and the project is not budgeted. But a budget amendment will need to be prepared later once the bid is awarded to capture both the design and the actual construction costs. So if the design is $36,150, we're estimating the construction cost to repair the bridge the way it should be repaired between $50,000 and $60,000.
In addition to.
So this would be about an $85,000 type project.
Two questions, please. One, is the 36,150 in line with the cost of other bridge designs that have been done?
So,
Okay. Okay. And the source of the funds, please.
I guess,
yeah, but
why did GDOT recommend this one company?
I don't know. The GDOT Bridge Inspector came, and that's what we would recommend this company. We have business with them before.
Even when consultants were asked about a bridge for a bridge consultant, they recommended the
Right.
Street.
Satcher did with the Vale Road Bridge.
Yes, the 3 or 4 bridges we did.
They
I
did.
have another question. Is this the bridge right out here that we had an issue with?
Yes.
2 issues with it, yes.
Okay. And I may have just forgotten it, but did we ever determine there was an issue about who actually owned that bridge? Was that ever cleared up?
I think insurance companies were discussing. I don't know if it's been cleared up yet.
It has not been definitively answered. It's, supposedly, the middle of the creek
Yeah.
is the town limits, county and city, Hamilton. So, do each of us have half the bridge? And that has not been.
Sounds like we need some discussion with the city, before spending county funds there, because it would definitely come below the counties. Mr. Todd, how was this usually handled? Something like
I
that.
can't say that I am sufficiently informed about this dispute or these issues to hazard a guess at this point.
I was just thinking about the issue of a bridge with 2 different jurisdictions in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's the reason for my question.
Yeah.
There's a sign on one side of the bridge that says, welcome to Hamilton. And on the other side of the bridge, I think there's a sign about the county, so it leaves the bridge kind of up in the air.
And I think that exact question is in litigation.
Yes.
That exact question is in the litigation arena. So we don't really know who
Well, you know, if that's the case, it seems to me we're a little premature, as much as we want to get it repaired. But it does seem we're a little bit premature, because it either puts us then in a position of having to go to the city and say, oh, half of this is yours, and you didn't agree to it. So
I agree.
Can I ask a question?
Can you get us more information as to if it is in litigation and when?
Oh, it's in litigation. That exact point is in litigation.
Okay.
Was there any time frame put on this project by GDOT?
No, it's a, from GDOT's point of view, it's a local problem, it's a local issue.
Yeah, GDOT was just in because they had the expertise saying what needed to be done to fix it properly. No, it's not a GDOT project, it's a city-county road.
And it was repaired several years ago.
Early 90s.
No, in 2016. But that,
Although that was repaired, yeah.
but that was not the correct repair to, that was not the ultimate repair. Hence, the second issue,
Who paid for that?
the county in its entirety,
And we know how much?
about $6,000. So then, since the second thing happened, 2 years later, I said, well, I think it still broke, so that we need to fix it. And here is the avenue to fix it. So,
We're not table this until we get some more.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we need to have that issue. As much as I hate to do that, I do think we need to table it until we decide who owns what. Okay? Okay, anything else, Mr. Dowling?
no, that concludes my business.
All right, next we have a, under county attorney, resolution regarding moratorium on PUDs, which we had one, it expired, and now looking at just extending it or redoing it with another one.
Which would simply give the board more time to do what it is intended to do with the initial moratorium, which is to take a look at and modify your PUD regulations. And this would give you an additional 180 days to undertake that review and make the changes that you think are appropriate.
And I asked that this be placed on the agenda because word had gotten to me that there might be some interest in a PUD or a PRD.
Which is under the category of PUD.
Right, and since we do not, since our ordinance is, I believe it's with the attorney, am I wrong? Because this is the one where we had the meeting with the planning commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we talked about the changes. I thought that it had gone, but, and I don't know that for sure.
I've not heard anything about it, but that doesn't necessarily
And we
mean.
need to talk about it in the
We do
development
need
of
to
the
talk about
comprehensive plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, 180 days really doesn't, I mean, that's not the ultimate, because we're not gonna get the comprehensive plan done until April of next year. And until we get that done, we cannot redo our zoning ordinances, which we wanna do.
You know, we can amend sections of the zoning ordinance to address these kinds of things which.
I don't know whether we
don't have
can
to
do
it totally.
can we do a longer?
Yeah, is that
There's
the
no,
issue?
there's no magic number,
Okay.
but it, It's all about what's reasonable given the task before you. So the argument certainly is that it's too long, the longer you take, and you have a better argument, the shorter period that you take. There is no magic number. It's just more susceptible to attack if it seems to be longer than what would be necessary to do what needs to be done.
And the 180 is not a magic number we made.
No, that's,
But it's twice as long as the last one.
Well, it is twice as long as the last one, but 90 days is really not. I don't think that's too short a time.
Yeah. But this can be stopped anywhere along the line.
Yeah, we can
change,
always
it'll
vote
be
to
lifted. It'll be lifted.
stop.
But we need to put something in place to prevent applications. We get
Absolutely
applications
right.
tomorrow, we have to
Yeah.
move forward with that
Exactly.
based on our current regulations.
And we have to do that based on, and that's very little.
Is it safe
Yes.
to do a shorter period and then renew the moratorium under that?
You could make that argument. Again, this would ultimately be a very subjective determination by the court. If you did 90 days, didn't do anything at all, and then did another 90 days, it wouldn't necessarily look any better than 180 days.
I think, 180 days, we may be to the point of at least looking at this piece. We don't know yet.
But
Yeah, we
making
certainly
progress
don't want-
during that.
Yeah, we don't want to piecemeal our ordinances in the middle of our comprehensive plan.
I think most of the draft of these changes has already been done.
Right.
It's just a matter of getting it in process, getting it operating, getting it in place, so we can either accept applications or not.
But we did have some questions about some things.
But, and that's what I think, it's still on the attorney, but I'm not sure, I can check the records.
Can we try to put that in, at our retreat?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think that makes good sense.
I would think this time not to go beyond 180 days. Just
And
Okay.
that's fine. I mean, that was, maybe that proposed, so
Well,
180.
okay. Then is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is there a second for 180 days?
For 180 days, a
I'll second.
resolution for 180 days in moratorium.
Okay. Any questions, any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Will the questions be answered by the attorney by that time?
No,
We'll do our best to get it
well, we don't know.
done.
Maybe. If not, we'd have to extend it further.
So, I think this is the one where the planning commission, that when they did meet with y'all, and there were just issues that, the legal issues that had to be
Correct.
straightened out. Because they wanted one thing and it wasn't quite legally worded or something. It's not much, but John's been tied up with other pressing matters.
Yeah.
This has been 6 months now. We have signing ordinance, it's been 3 year revision.
It's almost finished. That was been looked at and it's just the final revision has to be done.
You don't keep going into a black hole and start to get stuff out.
Our next retreat's in September, is that correct?
That's the goal.
So if we review in September, we can clarify all of our questions that we have with the attorney, make sure he has our specific questions.
Yeah, try to be real specific.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, all in favor of the motion for 180-day moratorium on floods, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed?
Just one opposed.
All right, anything else, Mr. Todd?
Not from our side.
All right. Okay, anyone else have anything? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
I'm ready to go home.
And like no one else.